Hey everyone, welcome to a new episode of the Red Devils Corner Kick podcast, a fan podcast dedicated to Manchester United Football Club. As always, like, subscribe, follow, whether you're listening through Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or YouTube, and you can follow on Instagram, TikTok, or X. I hope everyone is, since we last talked yesterday, I hope everyone's enjoying their week so far, getting ready for the weekend. We have one more preseason match today, or not today, Saturday. We just had the other one. Did my post match recap yesterday. Today's episode, and I discussed it yesterday. I'm going to talk a little bit about the women's squad, talk a little bit about the men's transfer window, and also I'm going to talk about the match for Saturday against AC Milan in the Amram Derby, which I have deemed it as. Listen, with the men's transfer window, I don't know, it's kind of going to be a short segment if I'm going to talk about it. We can speculate until the cows come home from basically like it's like we're still in the same spot as we were. Nothing's new, no new signings. We're talking funds. Obviously money is still an issue, so on and so forth. And the transfers kind of have to go hand in hand with the backing of either squad, because the women's squad is not going to get any backing. I was reviewing some articles today, or as I was prepping for the show. I was reading something on news. What was it? News? No, where were we? On the BBC. Because an article that came out on August the 11th. And there is another article that came out too on August 3rd, which unfortunately I missed and did not get a chance to read. Which I'll scan when I get a chance, or I'll as I'm recording with you, I will have it up as well. But there are concerns. Listen, there's concerns with either or. The men's squad is always going to get the backing before everyone else, and the women's squad is obviously getting no love at all. And Sir Jim Ratcliffe has made his opinions on the women's squad, and I was reading through that. This is a quote this is what he said. Sir Jim Ratcliffe's comments about the women's team were also scrutinized. Speaking to the We United We Stand fanzine, I think fanzone, Ratcliffe described the men's team as the main issue and referred to the women's side as girls and an opportunity. Listen, we know what type of person Sir Jim Ratcliffe is. It's not a lie. Obviously with what he said this year as well. Yes, he's made some, we know who he is. That's what I'll leave it as here. And as many fans in fan channels and many fans and other fan channels, Ineos needs to go, and so does Sir Jim, along with the Glazers. So unfortunately that's not going to be happening for a while. But yes, we know that Sir Jim does not want to back the women's squad. And the Glazers have brought but yeah, we can talk about the owners till the cows come home, until the cows start speaking up and saying when are they going to be leaving as well. So, but yes, we know the lack of funding is going on. That's why Skinner has left. Saw something with our new manager, why they left, with Eva Lead, who was just brought on last week. She's taken over. She's in the middle of preseason, which is going on. So, and then there's the new direction, which she does work with youth. She does help build the program. So we're going to see that eventually develop. So it's going to be a project under their new manager, because they're going to work on the youth. They're not looking at spending. Obviously, with Mallard gone, us getting the sale, we've lost a few players already for the women's squad. I've kind of already jumped into the women's segment. I'll jump back to the men a little bit momentarily. This is now off the rails. But no, I kind of, the men's squad, not much has changed, but the women's squad this is what I kind of want to focus on. But yes, the women's squad is in trouble. So is the men's squad. Either way, Manchester United as a club, as a whole, I don't want to say these words, fucked, but like realistically, it is. There's a situation where both squads are literally fucked. The women's squad right now is in a tough situation. They're going through a new project. They're going to be slowly building up a new squad. We've had departures because I was going through everything today. This is the official departures as of, when was this? As of 8 days ago. This is the official. I don't think we've had anyone out. We may have. But as of right now, Hannah Blundell is gone. Leah Galton's gone. Gabby George is gone. Melvin Mallard is gone. Mallard is gone. Lisa Nelsland is gone. Rendell is on loan to Newcastle. Millie Turner is gone. So we have one player on loan while we've lost 6. We have brought in, since then, 2 players. Janina Leitzig, keeper, and then Andrea Medina, who I have mentioned before on this episode. So we have 2. We have a young defender, and we have an experienced keeper who is expected to potentially battle it with Fallon Joyce. So right now, we are going in a different direction. Whether it's hard to say how things are going. We just had our first preseason game last week. We did draw with Leicester City. Fallon Tulis Joyce. I am so sorry about that. Just broke into my head here. But we're going to see that competition there. We're playing less games, so no Champions League. The goal has to get them back to at least get into competition to get us into the qualifiers for Champions League. Can we be competing with trophies? Potentially. But right now we haven't replaced depth. We haven't. Let me just get our current squad right now. So obviously, we do have Kayla Rendell. She's off. Tulis Joyce, Patel. We still have Hannah Gluckquist, Jade Riviere. Gabby George is gone. Oh, Footmod has not updated it. So, like, our starting back 4 is still there, but it's our depth. But we do have Lundqvist that's there. We do have Rolfo, who can play in the back as well. But I think Medina is now replacing. Well, you're replacing Turner and Millie, Turner and George. I'll get there eventually. But we still have Sandberg. We still have Letitia. And we still have Janssen. We still have Riviere. And we have Lundqvist. But there are still concerns. There are. Now, whether they start building up and looking at the depth, yes, unless they start making those. Who's this here? Sorry, my apologies. But no, we are going to have players, hopefully, like, depth-wise. I know we're going to be looking at the youth. So there is going to be a struggle, and we're not going to be having many signings. I don't think they're going to, because I don't think they're going to have the funding. I think they're going to use the sale from Mallard to potentially help build something. Like potential to save, and then if they have to look at squad or get additional players, yes. Or they could just save it, build up, and see what next summer brings. If they qualify for Champions League, they may put that money in a bank just to build up and get themselves ready. So we do have players. We do the attack. So we do have Schuler. We have Turlin that's there. Drury. You can use Wangerham as well. Rolfo you can use anywhere. Who do we else? Oh yeah, Leah. Yeah, this really needs to be up. But we're fine in mid. We are. We're fine in mid. We have Olme, we have Miyazawa, we have Toon, we have Wojo, we have Park. It's the attack that I'm concerned with and depth. That's the one thing. But Layla Drury did sign her professional contract, I believe, so I think she might get chances with the first team. So it's all based on how we're going to look at how the formation is going to be. Like Oleg, our new manager or head coach, how Ineos and the Glazers want to put it. Our new gaffer, she's going to play. She wants to play in an attacking style. I've seen some people talking about a 3-4-3. Would we have that there? Who would play? But I think she can play many different types of formations. So we'll see how she's going to lay everything out. I do need to get a chance to watch some of the games. I know I haven't really been at my best. Let me see if I can get some. Let me see if I can find the women's preseason games. Let's see if I. Come on, internet. Work for me. There we go. Sometimes it could just be me, which it usually is. Let's get to the women's team. I want to check the fixtures. Like, they don't have preseason going on. Like, even the website doesn't want to do anything. All right, just give me a moment here. Let's just see what we can do. Let's just check their preseason. Preseason begins. Let's just see. I know they're playing in Spain, but I want to see their matches. When do we have? All right. Preseason fixtures. This is as of July 16th. Preseason fixtures against Newcastle. So, let's just go here. Yeah, they were just talking about last summer. That's wonderful. Hold on here. So, back on continent, Dorado friendly. They played Newcastle. They're playing in Murcia. Is scheduled to play sometime between So, I don't think they're going to have that much of a preseason. I know we just had Leicester last week, but that was at home. Yeah, it's great that players are here. I like to know what their matches are. This is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. No updates on the preseason matches. Nothing. It always frustrates me. It does. It is just livid here. But no, I don't think I should have used the word they are kind of right now because both squads are not getting the funding, but I would like to see some good things with the women's squad this season. I really would. Health. But I guess as more and more of the training camp goes on, we'll see because we're 2-3 weeks away. September 4th is their first match. So we're just about. Can this calendar open up for me? Yeah. So we're literally 3 weeks away from that first match. 3 weeks as of tomorrow. We're playing London City Lionesses. So hopefully they get another game or two in before, and from what I read here, potentially Newcastle, which is League's Women 2, or League 2. So we'll see what's going on there. I know they did mention that they are training in Spain, but I'm still not happy with every time I try to get myself prepared for an episode to discuss the women's squad. There is, like, hands out to those who do produce content for the Women's Super League. I greatly do appreciate it. But sometimes I do find it struggling because not much is coming out. Again, some of the articles with the women's squad isn't really most up to date, but the BBC has done some of the fans as well. News Now, which is I have used a couple times, but even still, when I try to look up articles and updated news, there's not much going on. So it's, yeah. But no, there was an article by the BBC basically talking about the way Manchester United, but an article here on the 3rd basically titled, "Have Man United Lost Faith in Their Women's Team?" I won't say, I don't think it's about faith. I think it's just neglect. They're neglecting them, especially this season when you have a manager who wasn't going to be backed. Oh, sounds like Ruben Amorim with the men's squad last year. But they're not going to be backed. They're not going to have players come in. They're not going to compete with the top clubs. They're just going to skeet on by. Where have we seen this? This is happening right now with the men's squad. Carrick is not even being properly backed. And, we know how the owners feel about the men's squad and the lack of, or not properly spending. I know they're trying to be careful, but money management that has been dealt by the Glazers, who should have sold the club fully, or at least taken that $1.2 billion or so, or whatever amount of billions. They're over $1 billion sale of that 28% of the club could have been used to pay off the debt where we're not financially fucked, to say the least, where our women's squad wouldn't be suffering, our men's squad wouldn't be suffering. But no, the ownership, the ownership here is just remarkable, and it's affecting it. It is, but there is struggles here. There are, and having Skinner leave literally a month before the season basically began does hurt. It is good that they were able to get a manager in that quickly. I'm wondering if there were talks already of potentially them coming in. So it is hard to, listen, it is hard to get a manager in right away, but it looks like for things to turn around that quickly, it looks like they already had Eva Lead already on the block to bring her in. So, but look at the men's squad right now. It's the same thing. Again, I know we want the superstar players, and I've mentioned this before. There's nothing wrong with there's really nothing wrong with spending the amount of money as long as the talent matches the dollar value. And yes, we can talk about the United tax. Yes, the magnificent United tax that we've mentioned for years, that United pay higher than everyone else. But listen, I'm okay with them managing and getting players in for their value. But if you're getting an opportunity to pay to get a premium player at that value, whether it's $100 million and you know you're going to get the return on investment, they have to execute and take a gamble on it. I know they're trying to build something, but I'm still going to call out the ownership. I'm not going to spread negativity around and everything, but there is concern, and we're seeing it with the women's squad, and the women's squad's getting the worst of it. The men's squad is, you can say they're getting the worst of it, but they're getting affected by it. The transfer window hasn't been really the greatest. You're getting spin on players, but realistically, we're not getting the amount there. They wanted to spend 150 million on our midfield alone. We have spent 85, roughly. Yeah. Yeah. If you look, 50 million for what they paid for Santos, and then around the 35 or so for Tielemans. Yeah, you got your 85 there. We still have 65 remaining. Either they're going to go in, because I know they wanted to go for Scott. They could go in for Wharton. I know there's the Tukamini's gone. Kone thing was expected to be around 50 million, which you can use the remainder left towards a left back. And from what I'm reading here now, United are trying to prioritize a left back more than a midfielder, because apparently Mason Mount is doing a fabulous job. I'm thinking here. The one thing that's tough is you're going to see an academy player starting in the midfield this year, whether they're planning to keep on Collier or look at the Fletcher brothers as those midfield players. I think that's what it is. I think the reason why, and like that's why I said what I said the last couple episodes. Protecting the players is a priority. Protecting our youth and developing them properly is there, but we really haven't. But I don't want players being like, I want players developed properly, but I don't want players being affected and misused because the ownership mismanaged the transfer window and getting the team to where it needs to be. That's the best way I could say it there. But I do expect the Fletcher brothers to be still with the under 21s and training with the first team. And like I said, you probably will see them. You'll see them this season, both of them. So, but going back to both again, transfer windows haven't been the best for the women's squad. Like you brought in 2 additions, and I mentioned 7 have left. We have some players there, but again, I know there's limitation there, but we do have to compete with Arsenal, Chelsea, and Man City. Those are the 3 best teams last year. We were 4th, especially when we finished 3rd the season before. Like last season was a great season for the women's squad overall, and I've mentioned it before. Last year, again, having the men's squad winning, or not, like having the men's squad getting into 3rd into Champions League this year, which is great, but they weren't playing that many games last year either. The women's squad, again, down the stretch, the struggles, the fatigue, the fitness, everything just caught up to them in the end. We saw that there. But hopefully with 1, the reduced amount of games, 2, she works on getting the fitness up for the women's squad. We hope to see that there. But we do have to back the managers from either way. I know the youth is important for both, which is right. You do want to develop your youth, but you have to do it properly. You do need funding to bring in players to help those youth players. So we'll see how it goes for the first stages. For the women's squad, obviously they're now starting a new project. So patience is key, and I know patience in Manchester United don't go hand in hand with this fan base. But right now, let's see what's going to happen, how everything's going to work out with our new coach, with the squad that we have. Again, like we did lose depth pieces. Like losing Turner, losing George does hurt. We still have pieces that we brought in, like again, who I've mentioned before, because let me just get up the squad again. Because Wengerham, Schuler, and Lundqvist were brought in. They were brought in. They were brought in for the transfer window last year, and they did make impacts. Schuler, I think, struggled a little bit, but Lundqvist, Wengerham did contribute as well. I did like Lundqvist in the back, but like having her in the rotation, having like our back 4 is still there. Tulis Joyce is there, but having our new keeper there to give, well, it's also going to give competition to Middleton Patel as well as Tulis Joyce, because the one thing too is nothing against Patel, because I thought she did well when she filled in when we lost Tulis Joyce, is when we went through those stretches and you're trying to build someone there to get a rotation in, and it's good to challenge our number one keeper. But I think when we're in those situations where Tulis Joyce went down, she was gone for about a month, there were games that we struggled. We did face, we faced Man City and we sucked. We faced Man City even with Tulis Joyce and we struggled in those matches. So, but again, if we do get into that stretch where we do lose a number one keeper, we want to make sure that we're still keeping ourselves there. But it wasn't just Patel. Again, there was issues there with moving the ball out of the back. There were some games, because I remember, what was it, Wolfsburg, she had to start. She did start against, who was it? Was it PSG that she started and just played fabulously? Just give me a moment here. I am sorry if I'm all over the map. I am, and I'm just, this is a combination of just talking about both squads. Let's go back here. What was the game? Wolfsburg. Yeah, West Ham. No, she didn't play West Ham. What was the game? I don't even know if I'm at the right games right now. That's the one thing. No. Chelsea, yep. Juventus, yep. Yeah, Paris Saint-Germain. That's where she got her first start, and that's the one that we won 2-1. So, listen, when she has come in and she has done some good things, and obviously there were some struggles. Listen, Man City, yes. Wolfsburg, yes. And then, like Wolfsburg, we played horrible. It just wasn't her, and we didn't play well against Man City either. There was issues all around. And that's where the fitness, where I kept talking about the fitness and everything as well. But those are games that you kind of want to have a backup keeper, but you also want to have depth as well. So having the new addition keeper does help. So, but yes, obviously I've spent most of this half an hour talking about the women's squad, but there's a lot of things that need to happen with both. It's a combination of both, and that's why I've been throwing in the men as well, is because they're both being affected. One is being affected worse than the other, as much as we know we want for the men's squad massive signings and stuff, and we want it for the women's squad too, but they're kind of going hand in hand. Like, again, the men's squad has made more than just 2 signings. Let's just remember that at the end of the day. We have a new keeper, we have two new midfielders, we have a new winger. We're signing youth to help build, but that's basically it. The women's squad, we've brought in 2 signings and we've let a good chunk of our depth go. We've also lost our manager. We have a new manager coming in. The question is now, are we going to see a little bit more backing? I don't think so for this transfer window, not for what we're coming up. Maybe we'll see something in the next transfer window, the winter one. Who knows? But then it's basically right now, how are we going to address, both squads are in a limbo of transfers. That's basically what it is. So, but yeah, listen, it's a dilemma here in that regards. I'm going to do my post. I'm going to do my preview of AC Milan tomorrow. The Amorim. I'm going to do another episode tomorrow. Unfortunately, I didn't want to do that much of a long episode today, but it's just, I wanted to talk about the men's squad, the women's squad a little bit, just with the transfer windows. And yes, I went a little bit longer in discussing with the women's squad, and the women's squad do need to get some love too, because I do talk about Manchester United. I talk about both squads. I do follow along with both. I do watch alongs. I try to do watch alongs with both, and I will try to do watch alongs. I just need to upgrade my equipment, which, it's it's one of those days. But yes, I do need to upgrade my equipment and try to improve it so I can get those live streams going. It's amazing what technology means. So yeah. I'll be back tomorrow to do my preview of the Amorim Derby. That's what I'm deeming it as tomorrow, the Amorim Derby, because we're going to see players who magically came fit. Like, you know what I mean. So, but yeah, overall, again, this episode, the men's squad transfers are still in a limbo. The women's squad are in a point where they're not going to get proper backing, which can affect them in the season. I mentioned how lovely Sir Jim Ratcliffe and Ineos or Glazers are, but there is concerns overall when it comes to transfers, whether it's the women's squad or the men's squad. There's concerns in general. We know the men's squad is going to get the priority, and that can affect the women's squad. They're in a change of position, and we're about 4 weeks away now from the season. And again, change of manager sometimes can be good, sometimes can be bad, but leaving for the way the situation is going to be is tough. I'm okay with promoting youth, but I'm also want players brought in to help ease transition. Like, we do have a good squad. I'm not going to deny that. We still have a good squad. Our attack, losing Mallard, does hurt. That is an impact. There hasn't been a replacement for them. They've done a decent job in replacing George and Turner, but they've only brought in one player. So that one player is just in to replace either George or Turner. So that's going to be that. We do have other players there, nothing against them, but right now the direction of just trying to develop in the unknowns. That's the thing, right? So, but listen, I am looking forward to it. I do like what the manager did at their old squad. Eva Lead, what she had done, building it up the program and winning the league this past year, coming in and basically now almost in the same boat. I hope she just gets a little bit more backing, but we'll see what she brings. The one thing is we don't have Champions League, which does suck, but it helps us grow a little bit. It helps with maintaining depth, fitness, because again, Arsenal, City, Chelsea, they should all be in the Women's Champions League, so they will have more games. They're going to be getting beat up with certain teams. So they're going to have those struggles. Though women's Arsenal and Man City didn't look like they're getting slowed down. We're the ones that got hit. Chelsea looked fantastic last year, and Chelsea have gotten better. So those three, even the Lionesses spent money. Like, we're going to be up for a challenge this season for the women's squad. It's going to be a fight. Like, it's going to be a massive uphill fight to try and get into the top three this season for the women's squad, for the women's league, for Women's Champions League. Just a fight. So we did have our battles with Tottenham. That's a challenge right there. We're going to have our challenges with Lion City Lionesses because they built up some team. They got some additions there. So we're going to be chasing Chelsea, Man City, and we're going to be chasing Arsenal. Just if you look at the men's squad, we're chasing Man City and Arsenal. We're going to have our problems with Chelsea. We're going to have our battles with them because their squad's going to improve. Tottenham has improved their squad. Like Liverpool, we're going to have our challenges there. Newcastle's hard to say. And then, again, and I'm going to have my preview episode next week because obviously the men's game is there, and I'm going to do my preview for the women's season as well, talking about the schedules and hopefully where we're going to finish. But we do have our work cut out for both squads this season. So I will leave it there. I will be back tomorrow night doing the preview for the Amorim Derby, which is AC Milan versus Manchester United, our last preseason game. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting one just because the fans are going to treat it like a Champions League final. The Manchester United itself, marketing, are going to try and spin it. We're going to hear some things probably from the owners, from Wilcox and Barada. We're going to, this is going to get spun out just, yeah. So, but I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have yourself a great night. Don't forget to hit like, subscribe, follow, whether it's YouTube, Apple Podcasts, or Spotify. And don't forget to follow on social media, Instagram, TikTok, or X. This is the Red Devils Corner Kick Podcast. Glory, glory, Man United.